Griffin and Jacobs both haven't had a massive influence as yet. And if that unfolds in Fremantle's favour in this quarter, they'll take the advantage.
And we just saw Crowley gone to Dangerfield, so perhaps that is a decision that Ross Lyons made at quarter time. We'll wait and see as Main comes tearing in to pick it up. McKay's kick didn't get far. Duffield steps through some traffic, spirals it forward. Riley reads it best for Adelaide. Switch to Big Ben.
Fremantle very good on that occasion because Adelaide had some good spread coming from their midfielders, but the gut run of Fremantle were able to match them.
Good take by Dylan Robinson. He was dropped. There was 2 late changes, so he got a reprieve. And he sends it back in for Fremantle. They're trying to get Pavlich into the game. Subin at the back. Rutten, he's so professional in finding the boundary line. It's out now.
Subin did well then to try and keep that ball alive. Stepped out late, but I liked how he was clean in a tight situation.
From the throw-in, ball out the back. Coming through Petrenko. He took him on.
He's got to get rid of that.
Yeah. Certainly took on the tackler, didn't he?
Very late. He barged at the tackler. Just one thing, Kepler Bradley has become a handful for Rutten when they have a stop player or a throw-in inside their 50 because he can jump up third man.
Taken by Barlow. Gee, big jump at it. Riley went out sideways. Talia doing a pretty good job so far. Mzungu couldn't take it.
Oh, well done.
And right again. Rutten, Johncock. McKay searching for Petrenko. Out wide. By hand. Riley into the corridor. Spots Big Jacobs. He gives off to McKay. Just lost his footing. Now back to Jacobs, who took an age to get rid of it. Adelaide under a little bit of pressure here. Johncock's handball wide.
Pressure was good, but it was just some sloppy work. McKay receiving a handball from Jacobs with no speed, no penetration in his run. He's just loping across the half-back line, then goes to ground. So just got to work on that in the early stages, Adelaide.
Another big pack around the ball as Adelaide just push it wider.
I just think that too was McKay. You suck it out of a ruckman's hands, Jono, but he was running into pressure. McPhee was waiting for him there for the ball. What you had to do is say, Jacobs, hold,
come back down the side,
drag McPhee to him and go the other way,
yeah.
or just drag McPhee and then you can get one over the top.
Jacobs again looking for Van Berlo in this instance. Touched off the boot, the kick from Dangerfield. Crows fans out wide, wanted a free kick for Johncock, not forthcoming. Graham Johncock, 29 years of age. As Thompson comes barging through. Duffield the spoil. Petrenko first to it. Thought about the give. Went back to right. Now he spots Shaw in the middle. And Fremantle get plenty of numbers back. Shaw's kick in long. Van Berlo was there. Thompson front and square. Caught. Not going anywhere. Ball up.
Well, both teams are setting up the wall, as we spoke about before the game, very well. Adelaide have only been able to score one behind when gaining possession back in a defensive area and moving forward. And Freo have been able to get one goal in the same fashion.
Chance here for McKay, Verdi Vince. Gets it back on a 1-2 from Ben Rutten. Now Doughty. Again, good pressure from the Dockers, causing some indecision, causing some decisions out wide, or the kick it out wide. Walker marks just inside.
He was held. Anyway, I think the free kick would have been paid for a hold of the jumper.
Surely he's not going to attempt this kick.
Well, it looks like he is.
Well, that says 36% probability. I would suggest it's more like 3.6.
Yes.
This is the hardest pocket. If you ever played here, even the Adelaide players, whatever.
Even Tony Hall wouldn't attempt this, and he owns the pocket.
He's a talented player, though.
Walker sets it on its way. Not bad. It's a tough kick, but it's a behind. Crows by 9 points. And again, Duffield, not sure. Spots Hill. And they got there pretty quickly, though. Dangerfield drills it in low. Perfect pass. Right man, right time, Douglas.
How good was that, John?
That was great. Van Berlo's courage going back with the flight, which then Dangerfield was able to capitalise on the loose ball once it left the contest. And it's that defensive work where they like to get those rebounds back inside forward 50 to score.
So Douglas now for the first goal of the second quarter. 8 goals for the season. He'd love to make it 9 if it just comes back a little bit. And again, a set shot from the Crows to the wrong side of the post. Eleven scoring shots to 6. Will it become an issue later on for Adelaide as Barlow takes the short kick from Duffield? Now McPhee.
Well, Adelaide, we just love this. They give up the pockets all the time, come up, press up on the mark, and then defensively, they can just surround the long ball when it gets kicked out.
Shaw reads it. Oh, good position. Just didn't take it. De Boer back to Mundy. Main is a very good mark.
Oh, the Pavs.
And away, Pavlich. Well, he's kicked a lot of goals of late. There won't be any easier than this. He's on the board.
Well, you go back to the kicker, and I'll tell you what, Jono, Sam Shaw, if you're going to go for the mark, you've got to mark the ball. And when he didn't, he went for the mark and it didn't turn over. They had their front and centre players here, and also Talia. I think he was worried about making head-high contact, and that's why he pulled out of that contest. But here his opponent kicks a goal because of it. But I still think it was on the half-back line. You have to punch the ball back. If you go for your mark and it doesn't turn the ball around the momentum, you pay a price like they have here.
Well, that was the difference with Sam Shaw last week. In the last 8 minutes of play, he had 3 fantastic efforts, which nearly won Adelaide the game. One was a great contested mark. On that occasion there, he let himself down, which in turn had a massive effect on the Adelaide Crows because Pavlich was able to run into an open goal.
Pandemonium upstairs when I put sugar in Shawry's coffee during that goal. But 4 goals, 7 to 4-3, coast to coast, the Dockers.
Indefensible, that.
Yep. Oh, gee, Mazungu up and out.
Great
down.
smother.
Yep.
They're
Got
out
into the
again.
back, though. No, it's going to be free kick for Trenko. Long ball up. And making front position, Johnston.
Well, that held up into the breeze.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
That kick. John Cock was out on a lead. He had lowered his eyes, went long, dropped short, and Johnson gets a shot at goal.
From Port Pirie in South Australia originally, went up to Sydney, a couple of games. This is his first game for the Crows. And he's going to have to kick it from just outside 50. It's going to be a big hit because it's going to hold up a little bit. Just drops now. Just went off the boot. The crowd thought he was going to get the distance.
That's where Taylor Walker needed to find himself at the goal line competing for that ball.
Well, that's right, Jacko. He did lead out and then just stayed out of the goal square, didn't work back into it.
McPhee with a long kick out. Van Berlo first to it for the Crows. Pavlich by hand to Hill, and off he goes. Well, Clancy Pearce didn't know it was coming. They've still got a bit of time here, the Dockers. He goes back the other way, changes direction to Robertson. Open forward line for the Dockers, but Robertson is going backwards. Kicks to the line, doesn't bounce well for Subin. Callanan. Adelaide should clear here. Not 15 to Van Berlo. Goes back to Vince where it just came from. Off the left boot high, Walker watches. Down towards Pearce. First to it, good speed from him. McPhee drew the man and went out wider. Spurred down the line. Main, well, he got into the back of Shaw. That's a free kick.
And Matty, one play you've called a fair bit this afternoon is Matthew Wright, already up to 13 disposals, but his last month he's had 25 disposals 3 times, so he's starting to find some form in the latter part of the season.
Well, he's getting more, he's playing more through the midfield, and he's got a PB of 32, so he's on the track to challenge that. But Adelaide go forward again through Smith.
Yeah, that's against Dawson. Off the ball, didn't even look at the ball to mark it and pushed off Walker.
And he threads it through to John Cock. What a beautiful pass. There were 3 Dockers standing there, and he said, no, I can do this.
Well, that's a class as well, Shorey. It was off one step. Taylor Walker thread the needle, and John Cock, who I love when he plays up forward.
Yeah, it's good,
he provides a good spark defensively. He tackles and locks the ball in as well.
They need a goal here because I think they've dominated pretty well this first part of this quarter, the second quarter.
We played over 10 minutes for the second quarter. We saw the angle and the probability from Graham Johncock, and he slices it through.
When I say that is I think they dominated in general play, and Fremantle got that one over the top to Pavlich, which was a couple of mistakes from the Adelaide players. But just here, you know, you've got to be better than that, Zach Dawson. You've got to put your hand up and make out that you're going for the mark. Just shove Walker. If they can isolate Walker with Dawson, it's hard because the defensively both sides are getting plus numbers back. That's the one matchup I think is going to be a real problem for Fremantle.
What they've identified is Dawson. Whoever gets Dawson just has to go up high, try and run him around and fatigue him.
David Mundy's just come off to the bench and straight up the race with the Doctor boys.
That's not good, Glenn, because he started pretty well.
He certainly did.
Yeah, he's been in some good form, but Adelaide get it back to a 10-point game, and they've got a clearance here. And Walker's in the van again. Dawson standing 5 metres off.
Slipped over.
Petrenko.
Oh, boy.
Around the corner, the bounce. Oh, there was a little bit of Tim May.
Taylor Walker just slams the ground on that occasion.
Tim May?
Oh, it's Adelaide, mate. I thought I'd go back to a South Australian off spinner. I didn't want to go back as far as actually Mallet.
No, okay.
But it really did take a big turn.
We just saw Patrick Dangerfield's strength there, boys. 55 centre clearances so far this year. That was 56, I think. Or maybe
go all the way. Crowley could have gone all the way and had a shot there. Decided to kick, tumbled it over to Ballantyne, who will take him on. Once, little give. Pavlich, off a step. Vision from the skipper to Main, who is an aerialist.
That is magnificent.
How good was that?
That is magnificent.
Sorry. Lace out, 45-metre pass on the angle, and the vision was just as good.
Now, Chris Main is one of the best set shots in the competition.
Chris Main would not get a pass like that at training. It was just beautifully weighted.
I'll tell you how accurate he is. 31 goals, 3 this year. He doesn't miss many.
That was just about the best in the AFL.
Yeah, it's not a lot of distance here. It's just a slight angle. And he puts it through. The Dockers have the answering goal.
Well, Jono, they've got those 2 goals from clearing through the corridor and getting players running back towards goal.
Yeah, well, that's part of the play. Part of, look, back through the middle, taking a risk, and that's what Ross Lyon was talking about at quarter time. If you take the risk, you've got to make sure that your teammate is well and truly in the clear, as Crowley was on that occasion. Had a chance to keep running, Crowley. Could have got to 50 metres and nearly had a shot. It would have been one of the goals of the season, but that kick there from Matthew Pavlich to Main, first class.
And gentlemen, some big news from the MCG. Nick Riewoldt has come off with a serious knee injury, and we'll have a look at that at half-time.
Thanks, Glenn. That is, considering what the Saints need to do over the last 4 weeks of the season if they are to manufacture a position inside the top 8. 2 goals to the Dockers in this quarter. Main, the goal kicker there. Wonderful assist from Pavlich. 50-metre penalty. And this from Matt de Boer. It's his second 50-metre penalty. He's going to have his second shot at goal. Importantly, he's going to put the Dockers in front.
Well, Steve McBurney's been involved in both of them, boys.
Patrick Dangerfield still asking the question as to the reason for the 50.
Very short 50, by the way. De Boer to put Fremantle in front. The crowd will tell you that he's hooked it. About 40 metres, that penalty. Margin at 4 points. Nothing in this game. So much at stake. Jenkins, strong hands. kicks it down the line, but it's in the Jacobs direction. Johnston came in late off the bench. Couldn't take it. Now McPhee pulls the kick. Griffin loped towards it. Thought he was a bit slow at it, but he did okay. Wheels around. Ballantyne is last in the queue. No tall men there at all for the Dockers. You don't really want it with Ballantyne and Walters as your targets.
No, especially with Rutten as the spare to come over the top and create a big spoil for the Adelaide Crows.
Well, both sides are missing a key forward to totally dominate this game. No Kurt Tippett, and Walker's looked the most dangerous, I think, on the field at the moment.
Shoveled out by De Boer to Barlow. Smith read it. Right. Hooks it back. Spur stood his ground. Might win one for high. Yeah, was.
Well,
very good courage there. You called it, Matty, beautifully. He's made a few mistakes, but tell you what, you win a lot of respect when you go back like you did then.
Yeah, he went straight back on the footy.
you can tell he's the type of player that wants to fix those mistakes in a hurry.
Kicks to the top of the square. Johnson's gone forward for the Dockers. Umpire giving the players plenty of time to get it out. And it does come out. Subin can't get through, though. Crows awake to that.
Well, the matchup they need to exploit at the moment is Richard Douglas is following around Kepler Bradley. He's trying to call for a change. He gets that now with Rutten. But for 2 or 3 minutes, it was Douglas on Kepler Bradley.
Good news for the Dockers. Mundy's back out there. Just went past it there. So whatever running repairs he needed, he looks to be moving good. The umpires again.
Still onto it.
On that battle.
Yes, give it a break. Just pay a free kick and then you don't have to get everybody to watch it.
Ballantyne skirting. Main. Plenty of numbers though for Adelaide. Johnson got a hand in there. Comes back to Ballantyne. Main again. Very hard to get free. Big Jacobs got it back. Right, caught. Mundy can go back to Bradley or go by himself. Not 15. Everton doesn't know. He's got players out wide, or he can go by himself. He probably should have taken the first option. Now to Pearce. Bouncing ball. Griffin. Johnson. Couldn't see Subin. Crows defending desperately here. And they'll hang on. We'll get a ball up. Or will we?
Oh, the ball.
That was
that had absolutely everything. Sure, Adelaide should have just rushed the ball through. They handballed back towards the boundary line instead of just getting it through the defence when they had their opportunity under pressure and then had to hustle.
And then Ibbotson just didn't give it off wide. Well, 3 of them standing there.
Oh, another turnover here. The pressure's on.
Van Berlo forced to go back. Riley looks up. Douglas calls out Dowdy. He says mine.
Fremantle's pressure certainly lifted in this quarter. They just need to capitalise on the scoreboard for their efforts.
Johnston. High ball up. Jenkins got rid of McPhee. John Cock is trying to keep it going.
We're seeing a little bit of a trend that's happened in the first quarter. The start to the Crows and then Fremantle sort of, just get balanced, and then they came hard at the last part of the first quarter. They've done exactly the same here.
Jacobs flipped it out the back. First to it though, Ibbotson for Fremantle. Pavlich. Yeah, he just looked away. Yeah, fended off to Taylor. Good decision.
It was a good decision. Pavlich just looking to release the body, get that metre gap. Good chase, Ballantyne.
Yeah, he's got speed, hasn't he? Wright probably didn't take the right option. But look at the backup from Wright. Now 55 out. Threads it up to big Taylor Walker. And Matthew Wright is having a very good afternoon. 16 disposals for him. Now Walker had a shot from the impossible angle. This one, possible.
Jono, when he kicks this ball right, we might see the lead again, just where Duffield was as a loose man in defence, he didn't help his teammate, Zach Dawson. No one could have stopped that kick, I wouldn't think, but he had to be in that front area.
35 metres, the man in the mark, the angle. 56% probability of 48. You'd think that Walker, being a key forward, would take that probability and work with it. Left to right. Taylor's got it. He's got it.
Excellent kick from Taylor Walker. He's now got 2 goals for the game. He's worked quite hard getting Dawson up and down the ground. That's the free kick there against Matty Pavlich. Looking to fend off and create that space. Got Talia high on the chin. And this is the kick here from Wright, and that's where you call it.
There's Duffield.
There he is, trailing in behind. And Wright did very well to keep his feet when pushed from Ballantyne. Great kick.
Walker with his second, and he's always got plenty to say, but he's looking the most dangerous forward on the ground, and that's with Matthew Pavlich at the other end, who is the key forward in the competition at the moment. Crows get it back to 10 points, but what we often see is the answering goal from the Dockers as they affect the clearance. Ball doesn't sit for Walters, but it might for Pearce. He looks up, heads in the main direction. Talia beats Pavlich to it.
He's been good in the last couple of contests, Talia.
Oh, sorry, it's
much improved.
Sam Shaw.
Oh, sorry, Sam Shaw. He read that beautifully.
Yep. Not his kick, though. Kicked it straight to Stephen Hill. Marks, plays on, keeps it low. Goal Dockers. Turnover City.
Well, Rossi Lyon to be pulling his hair out. He said, he talked to Jacko just coming off the field at quarter time. We're just going to watch going in the corridor. Well, that was a short corridor kick. And any time you want, if you want to go long, at least it gets away from goal. But this one, you can put the ball in the hands of Stephen Hill, who could just, he's a magnificent finisher. That's really costly. I reckon that's nearly their third from genuine turnovers, Jono.
That's a great pickup by Hill to be able to read where the ball was going, leave his direct opponent with speed, intercept the mark, and then finish.
Goal for goal here at AAMI Stadium. Every time the Crows get one, the Dockers get one back.
Bit of Nostradamus there from you, Matty. You said the replay was going to come very quickly, and
it did.
20 seconds, I give it.
6-8, 6-4. Ibbotson. Up the back it goes to Barlow. And he tumbles it forward. Juggling mark from Walters. Wheels around quickly. Main's got to go back. Good spoil. Shaw's kick. Trying to clear it. And almost stays in as Jenkins comes in and gets rid of Spur. That's a score from Shaw and the courage from May. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. We heard from Glenn Jakovic. Had a look at Nick Revolt, a serious injury from the MCG. We'll take a look at half-time. Walters trying to put the Dockers in front by half-time. They've got a chance here. Mzungu out wide the handball. Main. Well, he got a call from Rory Sloane. He's clever, Sloane.
Look away handball.
Yeah. And the kick found Douglas running. And he's going to take on Duffield. Play on the call. De Boer to help out. 2-on-1. Just stumbles. Boot to ball. It's going to be read by Smith. Rutten. Handball to himself.
That's just the pressure, Matty. It's game on. There's a lot at stake.
Main. Fantastic stuff from Clancy Pearce.
Another fumble.
Another fumble.
They're out on their feet, boys.
Yeah. McPhee couldn't get boot to ball. They need a break.
They do.
The crowd don't. They're not happy.
Just important this last 4 minutes. If Fremantle can lock it in their forward line, they've got
here's Richard Douglas. Did he handball? Now, he's handballed out. Now, if he handballed out, that shouldn't really be holding the man after he's handballed out.
Yep.
But the umpies don't like paying that. It's a bit like Kevin Bartlett when he used to throw the ball out.
Yeah, Kevin ruined it for everyone. He was in the box next door. Mzungu couldn't get his free kick away. Petrenko made sure of that.
Great pressure, isn't there? Both these sides have got very good defensive structures that Brad Johnson talked about before the game.
Fantastic battle here at AAMI Stadium. Goal for goal, nothing in the game. Pressure filled. Sloane to Douglas again. Right, down, up. Douglas. Fremantle have some numbers. De Boer, another good mark to him. And that kick went 3 metres to Duffield. Mzungu in the hole. Gets away from Wright. Ball still in play. Now Pearce has it. And back in board to Subin, who looks up, spots Bradley. Just the 15 metres.
Oh, they didn't play the one earlier. Ibbotson went further than that one looked to go, but they go back here and they've lifted their pressure, the Fremantle Dockers, and they've been able to get back into the quarter and can take a lead at half-time.
Kepler Bradley, he's got a very awkward style. Looks like he's going to kick the ball with his knee when he bends over that far, but fairly efficient.
Only 21 metres out. I would back Chris Mayne all day here. With Kepler, I'm not sure. This, from Bradley, to put the Dockers in front. We're right behind him.
Never in doubt, man.
Straight through from Bradley. Fremantle hit the front.
Well, they've just kept the pressure up, and Jacko's right. We've got 2.5 minutes to go here, and Mazunga, they just keep the ball alive. One thing they look like they might be outrunning the Adelaide Crows in midfield. So they're getting forward of the ball, and they've scored about 2 to 3 goals running with the ball going over the top. But Kepler Bradley had a great 7 minutes in the first quarter, and he's a dangerous option as a second ruckman and also a key forward.
Just his 5th goal for the season, but a timely one for Kepler Bradley. Fremantle, for the first time, hit the front.
Well, there's the virtual inside 50, 17 to the Adelaide Crows. When they go in, Matty, 82% of the time they're scoring. Freo, on the other hand, gone in plenty, but only scoring 44% of the time. So, but they're in front, Fremantle, because of the amount of ball they're starting to win through the midfield.
Yeah, no doubt.
Crows might have something to say about it here. Hard running coming from the back half. Van Berlo spots up Callanan. He can play on if he wants. Walker the Shepherd says, off you go. He could have handballed over the top for a Joe the Goose, but he kicks a goal. Crows back in front.
That's the story right there, Matty. Adelaide Crows get the ball inside forward 50. They are going to score today, and that may be because McFarlane is out, who's the key defender for the Fremantle Dockers. We see here, once they get that overlap play going, they score every single time.
You have to ask yourself, how did Callanan get 30 metres free?
Well, we talk about it, whether you run with your opponent defensively, you just sit back, and that's what he did.
2 goals for Callanan. He finishes off nicely there. He had a lot of room to move there. Question has to be asked how, but Adelaide have the answer there. What a game this is. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. We've got time for another lead change. Sloan belts the ball forward for the Crows. Hill caught. Wants Spur, found him. Now Johnson to back him up. Looks up. The kick off the outside of the boot to Barlow. Johnson kept going. He lopes through the middle of the ground. He drills it in low onto the chest of Pavlich. This is good movement, Fremantle. Pavlich didn't see out wide. Now he does. He spots hard running from McPhee. Missed him on the target. And McPhee happy to push it over the line. Crows fans want deliberate. They get it.
Well, I tell you what, the captain just erred then because he didn't hit the target. The idea was okay, but I would have rather him nearly have a shot from where he was. Well, not many players back in the square.
Had to pull the trigger straight away. He had Ballantyne coming up on him, who had 2 metres on his direct opponent.
Plenty of players around the ball. Griffin's almost marked that. Yes, he has. Tough one to mark. Kicks it up. Bradley will be in line. Now over the back. Fremantle have 2 here. But they ran out of room. It was Walters and Ballantyne, the Crummers.
Nick, settle down, okay?
I'm not sure they need to get told to do everything.
No, come on.
It's a game of footy. Here is De Boer. Taken by Vince. Working very tight there, Dangerfield. 36 seconds remaining in the first half. Crows have been excellent at AAMI Stadium all year. But they've had a couple of close ones as Jenkins clears it. Well, sharp by John Cobb. And kicks it down the line. No one really to kick to. Peeling off the back was Robertson.
Done a good job on Patrick Dangerfield. Oh, another turnover here.
Through the corridor.
And can Adelaide make them pay? They're going to have to be quick. John Cobb. It'll give out the back towards Thompson. Through it.
That's right. Patrick Dangerfield's had 5 possessions this quarter when he had 11 in the first, boys, so they've done a good job there.
So Michael Barlow just a little bit slow to get up there, but he looks to be okay. He's just sucking in the big ones. He's a courageous runner. And what a second quarter that was. 4 goals to 3 at quarter time. A reverse 4 goals to 3 there. Margin just 4 points. We knew it was going to be close. It's going to be close all afternoon.
It is. The skill level has gone up. The pressure's certainly gone up as well, with both sides just fighting as hard as they can. Adelaide took control in the early part of that second quarter. But Fremantle were able to fight their way back in. They just need to continue to watch that story, bringing the ball back into the dangerous spot when the player's not free.
Let's go to Glenn, who's got the skipper of Fremantle right with him now.
Matty, after a sloppy first quarter, you find yourself right in the contest now.
Yeah, very much so. The first 5 or 10 minutes was, as you said, very sloppy, and it's good to see the guys fall back, but there's plenty of work to do, mate.
Do you feel, did you get enough reward in this second quarter? You started to win the clearances through the middle of the ground, but forward line pressure?
Yeah, look, I thought the forward line pressure was great. I mean, they've got an extra number back there, which is making it a little bit more challenging, but to the guys' credit, they are looking off their line and trying to lower their eyes, and you know, we knew it was going to be tight, and it's very much that way at half-time.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Matthew Pavlich. But it's half-time here at AAMI Stadium. 50 plays 46. Saturday afternoon, doesn't get any better.